Hello and welcome to today's Doors Open Baltimore presentation presented by the Baltimore Architecture Foundation. I'm Margaret Stella, Programs, Research, and Publications Manager for AIA and the BAF. Thank you to everyone who donated to be with us, and thank you to our Doors Open sponsors, grantors, and in-kind supporters. Through your support, we've been able to host free Doors Open programs nearly every day this month. This afternoon's program is part of the final week of Doors Open Baltimore. See all upcoming Doors Open offerings at doorsopenbaltimore.org and check our YouTube page out for the previous programs. There's still also time to enter our at-home photo contest. Photograph the architectural details of your neighborhood using hashtag DoorsOpenBaltimore. The contest ends this Saturday, October 31st, and you can visit our website for more details. And now today's presentation. We are joined by Design, Dream, Activate, the team that designed Baer City. Baer City is an award-winning project, the recipient of the 2019 AIA Baltimore and Neighborhood Design Center Social Equity Award. Joining us also is Jennifer Gold, Executive Director at Neighborhood Design Center, to say a few words about the award.
Thanks, guys. As she just mentioned, I'm Jen Gould. I'm NDC's Executive Director. For those of you who aren't familiar with us, Neighborhood Design Center is a nonprofit organization headquartered in Baltimore. We were founded in 1968 by AIA Baltimore members, 3 activist architects, inspired by Whitney M. Young's speech at the AIA National Convention that year. And over our 52-year history, we've been providing pro bono design assistance to community-initiated projects. And the Social Equity Design Award was launched in 2018 in partnership with AIA Baltimore to honor projects that hold the NDC values at their core and show the ways in which architecture can serve social justice needs. So that aligns with our values that the more inclusive and community-driven the process, the better the design, and that healthy places are built with consideration for social justice, environmental sustainability, and the true character of a place and the people who live, work, worship, and do business there. We were all blown away by Baer, and can't wait to share in learning more.
Thank you. Please add any questions you have for Design, Dream, Activate in the Zoom chat box, and we'll get to as many questions as we can at the end. With that, take it away, Design, Dream, Activate.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tia Harris, and I'm really excited to share the background.
1 second, Tia. I just need to pull up the slideshow. I'm pulling it up right now. Okay.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Tia Harris, and I'm excited to share the background on Baer City at the William S. Baer School. First, I want to touch on how we got introduced to the school. So we all worked at the same architecture firm here in Baltimore City, and we decided to team with Waverly Construction and give school supplies for their drive. The upside to this was we got a chance to help them deliver the supplies to the schools. So during the school supply drop-off, we got a tour and we fell in love with the faculty, the students at the school. And when we brought this information back to a group of ladies at the office who are now Dream Design Activate, Alyssa introduced us to a program called the Green Apple Day of Service. And we were able to put our brains together and come up with how we could help the school. I honestly feel like the Baer School created Dream Design Activate because the project definitely turned out to be larger than we thought it would. And I feel like we were forced to become like an official team. So shout out to the Baer School if anyone's on here for helping create Dream Design Activate. Okay, so moving on to details about the school. The Baer School is the only public school in Baltimore City for very talented children between the ages of 3 and 21 with complex, severe, or multiple disabilities and fragile medical conditions. We decided to focus on their blacktop in the back of the school because at the time, the students used their hallways to exercise their muscles and improve mobility. So I'm going to pass it on to Brianna, who's going to go more into the site and how we revitalize this space.
Thanks, Tia. So my name is Brianna Allen, and as Tia mentioned, for our project, we wanted to focus on the blacktop. So behind the school is an existing blacktop that it was not accessible because there were cracks in the blacktop, and all of the existing playground equipment at the school was for children who did not have any disability or issue accessing the equipment. So it just wasn't appropriate for the students at this school. So as we focused on the design of what we wanted to create, Safety City, we really wanted to create an immersive space for those kids to be able to interact with each other, be able to learn, and be able to just have something of their own to experience. On the next slide, sorry, I'm going the wrong way. I just wanted to focus on, I'm really sorry, this is going the wrong way.
A little sneak preview, everyone.
Yes, a very sneak preview. Just gonna go back to, yeah. Okay, so what's on the screen now is our site plan, and this is really how we dived into the design that we wanted to create. We knew that we wanted to design a track that the students could use for their own exercise, but we also wanted it to be an educational and interactive learning space. So as you can see on the screen, we have a lot of traffic signs just as a way to educate kids on, these are signs you would see if you were moving through a city on the sidewalk, some creative street names so that they would have direction and purpose to the places they wanted to go. We were able to remove a tree on the blacktop, and this created an opportunity for a baseball diamond. So once the blacktop was repaved and accessible for the students, it was really a blank canvas for everything that we were working to do as a team. All right, so I'm passing this on now.
Okay, so hi, my name's Tracy Bell. I'm going to talk about how we made this happen fundraising wise, because obviously it was just a group of 6 ladies. We didn't have necessarily any resources. We were not yet a nonprofit. We still are not a nonprofit, but we weren't a group yet. So what we did first is just made a budget. Okay, we know that we need to repave the blacktop. We know that we need to remove that tree or it's going to mess up our repaving. We wanted to have a large mural on the back of the school to sort of make a cityscape, because another aspect of this Baer City is the fact that a lot of these kids, they're only going to school during the week. They don't have the ability to go out and about in Baltimore. And so we wanted to bring a little bit of Baltimore City to their school so that they can kind of feel like they're, like Brianna said, going on the sidewalk, coming up to a stop sign, a street sign, seeing the murals of the townhomes on the back wall. So we had our pricing for a mural, paving, the tree removal, striping out the actual track, and then the paint supplies and materials for putting the games and things we wanted down and the stop signs on. So for the paving, the Baer School had worked with a paving company before in a former project. So we were hoping we could work with them on some kind of donation or discounted base. We ended up raising our own funds to buy the paint and supplies with other partners and people who donated. But what really got us as far as we did is applying for grants. Now, like I said, we're not a nonprofit, so we had to work with the school board. Actually, Erica Limhinger is on the chat right now, and she was such a huge asset in this project. She helped us write grants to get funds to pay for this, and we ended up looking into Project Rampart, which I'll read you the description of this grant because it kind of just resonated perfectly with what we wanted to accomplish. Grants awarded to schools to improve the quality, safety, and accessibility of athletic, academic, and recreation facilities with a particular focus on improving student wellness, wholeness, and the student-athlete experience. The grants fund the creation or renovation of spaces that empower students to excel not only athletically, but also socially, emotionally, and academically. which is exactly what we were trying to accomplish here. So we applied for the grant, and to our surprise, we actually received the grant money, which ended up covering the cost of repaving and the mural and the striping. I want to say there was a separate grant that helped with the tree removal, but either way, this is what really sped up this process in a kind of exciting way, because then we knew, we have to finish this by this date. This small project, an idea that we had, has grown larger than we anticipated, and we are committed. So by the end, we had a community paint day to finish the final aspects of the project. We brought in food and water and things for everybody in the morning, and then a restaurant called Casa della Nonna actually supplied lunch for us, which was really great. So it was absolutely a team effort of different partners around the city and in the state to help make this happen. Yep, so.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jocelyn Christian, and I'm just going to talk to you about just how we executed the paint day and how we were able to utilize the volunteers that signed up and really be able to accomplish the painting in just one weekend. So before we reached out with Eventbrite. We sent a link for Eventbrite for people to sign up. We kind of wanted to have a game plan of how we would use the volunteers. So we thought that if we split everyone up into teams, it would just make the day go by a little smoothly, especially since it was the middle of August. It's pretty hot. And then we're working with paint, which is not we can't erase it. So we wanted to make sure that we did not, have any errors or anything like that. So we set everyone up in teams, and we had a team for the inside for just directing the volunteers. We had a team for the blacktop, the striping, the streetway, we had a team for the games, we had a team for the gazebo, which we'll see on the next side. And then we also had a team, the muralist was there, and some of our volunteers actually helped with finishing some of the finishing touches on the mural. So we brought, the team leaders were the ones who kind of made sure that the volunteers were just following the plan. And the site plan that you saw earlier when Brianna was speaking was kind of like our guideline that we used to make sure that the track we were painting the track the way that we had originally outlined. It went over smoothly. We had tons of volunteers. We had some teachers out there. And during the time of painting, we came across some challenges, and the teachers who work with these students had really great ideas for us to overcome some of those challenges. So even when we faced just difficulties with getting our games down, we put our minds together as a team with the faculty and with just the volunteers, and we kind of executed this beautiful track along with the streetway, the games as well. And if you move over to the next slide, these are our storefronts. So when we originally thought about the interactive track, we were going to have actual storefronts, but just for the safety and this convenience, we decided to go away with that idea, and we turned this gazebo into the storefront. So one of the teams were in charge of creating these storefronts. So that's how we came up with the idea of just having different storefronts where they can actually ride up to. The teachers don't have to have to move these storefronts, because the prototype that we originally built was on wheels, and it was designed in a way so that way we can move the storefronts throughout the city. But after coming up with this idea, we just thought that this was a lot better. It's here to stay, and it just came out beautiful. So we came up with their Baer Buds, their flower shop, and then we had the Baer Barbers, which is like a barber beauty salon, which is things that you'll see in the city when riding through. And I'll pass
it on to Alyssa, who's going to talk to you next.
Thank you, Jocelyn. Hi, everyone. My name is Alyssa Brown, and I just want to shout out a couple people. I want to shout out Principal Zalima and Erica Remlinger from William S. Baer. Also Mark from A1 Super Seal, who did the paving, and John and Bridget, who sort of led the mural on the back wall that you see in that image there. So projects like these encourage economic opportunity through environmental beautification and student morale. A beautiful and educational environment is a daily reminder that someone cares about me. Inaccessible playground equipment, particularly for a school that focuses on children with special needs, is sort of the exact opposite of social equity and really highlights the difference between equity and equality. Equality says the city will provide all public schools with playground equipment, while equity says that the city will provide all public schools with playground equipment catered to the needs of that particular population of children. So equity involves understanding and interaction. It's specific and geared towards needs. So very rarely do you see equality in underrepresented neighborhoods, but even more rarely do you see equity. This is why our approach to this project was to really create a partnership with the Baer School. We weren't imposing an idea. We asked instead, how can we help and what do you need? Baer City is an example of how architectural design can bring art, creativity, and vibrancy to a space with minimal invasive construction and limited funding. What was a disintegrating asphalt space is now an exciting public space accessible by the children the school serves, their families, and their communities. So our challenge to everyone listening is to continue to seek ways that you can encourage and promote or help provide social equity in your own neighborhoods. So you can check us out at our website, that's dreamdesignactivate.com. And that concludes our presentation. Thank you for your time. And I guess I'll pass it back over to Margaret if there are any questions. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you all. We do have a couple questions that have come in.
Hey, Margaret, while you talk, I'll just share a few other pictures to go through. Okay.
First question is, how long will the paint last before it fades? And do you all have plans to do touch-up as the weather takes its toll?
So I can, oh, go ahead.
Okay, well, this is Alyssa. So we sort of worked with the company that did the initial track painting to pick out the right type of paint. So our hope is that it won't fade too much, but we did leave that paint with the school, any excess that we had. Yeah, does anybody else want to add to that?
Yeah, we've actually been there several times after the execution, and it has held up really well. Like Alyssa said, we have additional paint for touch-ups as needed, but I think, you know, we did our research and we made sure that we could get the correct products that would work well. And I'm excited to see it. You know, obviously I haven't, because of the pandemic, I haven't seen it this year. The last time I saw it was last fall, but maybe Erica's on the call. Maybe we need to make a little field trip, come see how it's doing.
Great. So far, most of the comments in the chat is just what an incredible transformation it's been. The next question is, what element have the kids liked most?
Well, this is an example of why we need Erica on the call, but what she's told us is a lot of the teachers, they'll bring the kids outside and it's about, you know, 30 minutes of outside time and then 30 minutes of trying to get everyone back inside. So it seems that whether it's going around the track or just being outside, the kids are just happier there. Whether it's a specific activity or game that they're playing, I think they just want to be outside. It's a place that they want to be now, as opposed to before. There was nothing there for them.
Great. Oh, and this is from Nathan. What's next for Dream Design Activate?
Alyssa, you want to take that?
Yeah, I can start it out, and then if anybody else wants to jump in. So we were thinking about, before the pandemic, we had two other projects that we were considering taking on. One was with the Baer School, actually, and another was at an empty lot near Dukeland Street. It's actually near a middle school and an elementary school. And we actually met with the school talking about what maybe we can do there for that site. So unfortunately, things are sort of on hold for us right now, but you know, we're open to new ideas. Anybody else want to add anything to that?
Sure, this is Tia. I was just going to say, if there's anyone in here who has ideas for Dream Design Activate, call us, email us, and we'll be happy to collaborate.
Yeah, my thought was, I think our initial goal, as I'm pretty sure Tia mentioned this when she was speaking, you know, we came together in hopes to do one project, and doing that was such an encouraging experience for us all. It really showed us what a committed team with a plan can do. You know, we had resources that were against us. We had material, a whole blacktop that wasn't accessible, that I think wouldn't necessarily be familiar to a lot of people when saying, okay, how can I change this space? But just through communicating and sharing our idea and inviting people to work with us and hear what we had to say, so many amazing things were able to happen. So I think, you know, just the genuineness of our connection with each other is what is going to keep the ideas flowing and keep projects coming to us, because once we get the idea, that's what we do. We're designers. We make plans all day. How fun is it to make a tangible difference in such a short amount of time? Like, I don't even think we mentioned the timeline, but we came up with this idea in October 2018, and by August 2019, this place existed. So when factors like time and money come into play, it's very easy for people to say, well, I can't be a part of that. But I think, you know, looking past that and going a step further is the real key to bringing about social change and bringing about that equity that Alyssa was speaking to, which I think is near and dear to all of our hearts. That's what we're about.
Because like we said, this. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. One thing that I wanted to add, I'm not sure if you guys saw the image of, it looked like we were in the gym and someone was speaking. That was the principal, and that happened the morning before we started painting. And like, just her testimony to like her dedication to the students in the school and how much the kids need this, I think that put a lot more effort for the volunteers and, you know, trying to create this space. So I think just the history, the background, and just the need for this space, it created much more than we ever anticipated. So I didn't get to add that when I was speaking, but this is the image. Like, she, you know, she just went over like why the kids really need this. And I think everyone really took that to heart, and seeing, if they would have seen like the befores, they would really know like this transformation was just amazing, more than what we could have ever expected.
And just to piggyback off of Jocelyn, like, I think now this is personal, like there are emotions involved. So back to the paint, if I have to come back there every month to touch up the paint, I will. So Erica,
and we
let us know.
Have, actually. To your point, Tia, we weren't able to finish the entirety of the gazebo that day. So the six of us came the next day to work on the gazebo, and there was also a teacher there, and Erica. And then we were going back just different days of the week or weekends to finish the gazebo. So we had the paint day, but we finished about 3 months later, continuing to just go and work on it. So she's right, you know, we would take care of this. But I wanted to kind of touch on earlier the fact that, you know, what's next for us. We didn't come to the school, like we said before, we didn't come to the school with, this is what we're going to do, this is what we think we should do. We came and said, we want to do something with your school. Here's some ideas that we had. What do you think? And they really created this plan for us if this is what we think would be best for the students. So moving forward as Dream Design Activate, we see problems and we create solutions, ways to activate a space. But in the end, we want to do what the community wants. We want to do what the people who live in the area think would be best. So that's what will always drive our plans.
Great. And we had another question come in about the grant. Do you know if it's an annual award? And would you repeat this with, so Melissa already put it in, so it's a grant, but would you repeat a similar kind of project with another school?
Yes, actually, the
For
school that we
sure.
were working with, that we were working with before the pandemic hit, which sort of put everything on pause. That was definitely one of our ideas to work with or apply for that grant again.
And what's the best way to contact you all in regard to volunteering for painting on future projects?
I think Alyssa added the email to the chat.
Perfect.
And then
Let me
in
add the
addition to that, oh, I was just really quick. In addition to that, we are on LinkedIn, so you can follow our page there. We're on Instagram, so you can follow us there too, because any information we'd share via email about a volunteer paint day, we would also be posting on our social media too. So that's where our updates will be.
And you can subscribe to our website, which will also send out email updates. I'm sending our website link in right now.
And also Erica is giving a lot of good insight in the chat. So I would read what she's saying as well.
Exactly. Awesome. Well, if there's any other questions.
Erica, we love you.
Well, thank you all for joining us today, and this was a great presentation. If there's any other questions for the team, their email address is in here, dream.design.activate@gmail.com. And with that, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone.
Appreciate you joining.